It's off to Leonard, defended by Simmons. Is this the dagger?
And then I got your text about, like, hope it goes well for Duke. I got that notification, like, 3 separate times throughout the night. Like, I kept checking and be like, you got a text. And it would be, like, the same text. And, like, I think I responded to it. So now if I double, like, I don't know where to go here. So
I sent it to you one time. I got your response.
Good.
We're I guess all good.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Man, that was a rough 24 hours for us, though.
Honestly, you know, like, when you kind of you see the game, I felt like I've watched that game in reverse. Like, that was the Austin Rivers game.
Yeah, good call.
But, like, Carolina. Just the whole way of it. Like, Duke went out to a hot start. Carolina's young freshman kind of went off in the first half. Then he kind of, like, quieted down. But they just kept hanging around. Like, the whole entire night, I was like, I was telling, like, they're gonna lose. I think they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose. And then when they did it, I was kind of like, I told you so. So it kind of felt cool. But
what? Like, okay, let me ask you this, because I do this all the time with Maria with the Bears. And this year kind of broke everything because the Bears just kept winning games that they never won.
Right.
But I always did that, and she's like, how could you tell? And it's kind of, like, hard to explain. It's like, I've watched 50,000 hours of football in my life, and a lot of that has been devoted to the Bears, and I just know the kind of games that they don't win.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know when that's coming.
Yep.
But then this year, it was just like...
Yeah.
They just kept winning them, so it was very strange.
Yep. No, I
wasn't surprised, but
that's definitely it's just like a gut feeling. Obviously, you watch the team play so much, but that was funny. Like, just Duke could have been up like 25, but they were only up 13, and there could have been up 15, but now they're up 7, and she was like, oh, they're whooping them, and I'm like,
no, they're not.
No, they're not. No, they're not. But no, it was good basketball games though. 2 good games.
Yeah. No, they're both very entertaining. Just went the wrong way. Kind of on topic. We're talking about a game that today that I had a massive rooting interest in.
Yes.
And kind of similar in that, like, we've seen these two teams play before, and we kind of have an idea of how it goes. But then, this just ends up being a legacy-defining game for multiple players. It changes the trajectory, I think, of the Warriors franchise, the Cavs franchise, like Kevin Durant. Like, there are so many tentacles that come out of this game. But we're talking today about Game 7 of the 2016 NBA Finals. Cleveland Cavaliers at Golden State Warriors. I suppose the best place to start is a year prior. Because these two teams do hook up in the 2015 NBA Finals. which was sort of, I don't want to say a surprise, especially once we get to the playoffs. But going into the year, you're not totally sure how LeBron's first go-round back with Cleveland is going to go. They get off to a really slow start. I want to say they're one game under 500 at the halfway point of the season.
It's skinny LeBron. Do you remember
Yes. Yeah. Cut out carbs LeBron.
Yeah. Like,
Yep.
I mean, that was definitely, I mean, he may have came into the league bigger than what he was, it seemed like, that year.
It kind of felt like it. Yeah.
And then he took like 6 weeks off in the middle of the year and came back, and he was normal LeBron. That was good to see.
Yeah.
That was good to see.
No, welcome sign. But then on the other side, you have Golden State. They're in their first year with Steve Kerr. They've made the playoffs 2 years in a row, but they get bounced in round one in 2014. But then they win 67 games, and they look just so different than they did prior. And we've touched on that over the course of a couple episodes now. But yeah, we get to this finals. It's Steph versus LeBron, the MVP versus, the best player in the league back in his hometown. Cavs take a 2-1 lead in the series despite not having Kyrie or Kevin Love for games 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think that they actually could have won game one. I think had
They should have.
Kyrie not gotten hurt, because he was starting to roll
Yep.
in game one. And you touched on it too. Like, they didn't even have Kevin Love. He dislocated his shoulder. I think, was it the series or two before?
It was the first round, actually.
Yeah.
And to this day, Kelly Olynyk still gets booed mercilessly in Cleveland.
That's awesome.
When I was there for Spurs Cavs earlier this year, the second he checked into the game late, garbage time, 3 minutes left in the game, just massive boos for Kelly Olynyk. We still haven't let it go 12 years later.
That's great. It's almost though like that was a blessing in disguise for Cleveland. It felt like that almost like brought Kevin Love into the fold. Like, he was it, don't fit in, fit out, or whatever LeBron had said. So there was some tension there, and it felt like when he got hurt going the next year, it was like, oh, okay, he's a valued member. But anyway, game one was a really close game, and I felt like they were very evenly matched at that point.
Yeah.
Kyrie goes down with a broken kneecap, and then Golden State, goes and takes game one. But then game 2 and 3, LeBron, wow, he was unbelievable in those games. 39-point triple-double, 40-point game,
Even game one, he goes for 44, 8, and 6.
Mm-hmm.
He's off to the best 3-game start in a final series ever, just in terms of scoring, that is. And obviously, he's doing all the other shit, too. Like you said, it was a triple-double in game 2. You had the Dellavedova game, where he's like dying from full body cramps in the locker room. That really endeared him to me, just having gone through that experience myself, knowing that he put it all on the line.
That's right. I felt like that was like a perfect example of the series, though. Like, Cleveland just didn't have enough. Like, the Warriors nearly killed them. Like, with the pace that they played with and how many, rotation guys they could throw out there. I didn't mean to step on you there, but it just was like Cleveland literally almost died trying to guard Golden State that year. That was an actual fact.
Yeah, I mean, Dellavedova, and credits Dellavedova. He did a fantastic job on Steph. The majority of games 2 and 3, Steph kind of got hot late, I think, in game 3. That sort of carried over into game 4 and the rest of the series. But yeah, you look at this Cavs roster, like, no Love, no Kyrie. They were starting Timothy Mozgov.
Got him paid. This series got him paid.
He got a bag a couple years later. Dellavedova's starting, Shumpert's starting, JR's coming off the bench. And the only other two guys who play any minutes off the bench in Game 3 are Mike Miller and James Jones.
Mm-hmm.
And LeBron plays 46 minutes in Game 3, 50 minutes in Game 2, because that one back-to-back overtime games. And then, you're right. Like, it almost killed them. You could see that Cleveland, after Game 3, had just run out of steam.
Yep.
They didn't have anything left. LeBron was just left to initiate everything far too often. I mean, just going to see what his usage rate was. Care to take a guess what his usage rate was in Game 3?
I would have not a clue. What? So
45%.
My gosh. That's, I mean, I wonder like what the second next would be. That would be
game 2 was 40%. So
yeah, it's funny they just didn't really have
and 47% in Game 1. Sorry to cut you off, but
no. Yeah, they didn't have the depth, especially without Kyrie and K-Love, but going into the next year, I think they really added a couple like key pieces to their bench that really, I think, lifted them into another atmosphere in regards to being able to play with Golden State and matching up with Golden State. In 2015, they just didn't have the depth. Look at Golden State's bench: Livingston, Barbosa, obviously Iguodala. I mean, he wins Finals MVP. Like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's constantly coming at you. So sets up it. What it did though to me was it felt like this was without a doubt going to be a rematch. Like after this finals, it was to me like, okay, we'll see this again, and hopefully Cleveland's healthy.
No, it did feel kind of like a foregone conclusion. Going into the year, the Cavs were actually the title favorite going into the 2015-16 season. They're plus 280. Golden State was plus 40-80. And you heard a lot at the start of the season coming from Golden State about how they felt disrespected. Because the dialogue going into that season was like, is this really a high 60s win team? Did they catch lightning in the bottle? There was still the like residual, can you be a jump shooting team
right,
and win the championship? And then everything that happened with Cleveland in the finals, like, that kind of bakes into a case against Golden State. But they get off to a 24-0 start, which we kind of covered last week. They're 55-5 after 60 games, which is the best mark in NBA history. They hold on to that the rest of the way, go 73-9. And, you go into the playoffs, you think, okay, yeah, we're full steam ahead to Cleveland, Golden State. But then they run into the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals, and the Thunder almost throw a monkey wrench into all of this.
yeah,
They go up 3-1. Golden State, they look like they're searching for answers in ways that they haven't had to all season. And then we get, Game 5 is tight, but then Game 6 and 7 are two absolute all-timers, games that we considered for our campfire, rundown here.
yeah. And obviously Game 6, I feel like that just put Clay on a different level. He kind of, I don't want to say he's on the map after that game because he was already established as a really good two-way player, but he just absolutely saved their season. It's just funny because really they breezed through the regular season and had that. Their first two playoff rounds weren't anything, but they get into some serious trouble in the Western Conference Finals. And the Cavs, it's like the opposite. Like, they are still the one seed going into the playoffs, but they fire their coach, midway through the season.
When they're 30-11.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even like they're off to another slow start. They're first in the East when he gets fired.
Right. But just like it's a weird like what's going on here. So yeah, it's but that Warriors Thunder series, I mean, I don't know what series is more important in the NBA. That one or the game that we're currently covering?
The fact that it's even close says a lot about the Western Conference Finals.
Right.
I do think that you could make the case that the 2016 NBA Finals is the most important final series, at least of the 25 years that we're covering. Not only because it's Golden State going for the top of the mountain, where they could...
They're the best team ever.
Yeah, best team ever. Like, you topped Chicago in the regular season. You have the unanimous MVP. You have two other players who are all NBA. If you close it out with a ring, that goes down as the greatest season of all time. And then on the other side of that, though, you have LeBron, who is playing to keep this promise that he made to Cleveland, going up against Golden State for the second straight year. There's kind of the tug of war between Curry and LeBron and like who's actually the top guy in the league. And just the manner with which Cleveland came back in this series,
yeah,
I think it legitimizes LeBron in a way in the GOAT debate that, like, it's very real at that point. Even though he's 3 titles shy of Jordan, what he did in the final 3 games of this series, like, indisputably gets him into Mount Rushmore. Through the first 3 games, it kind of is a little bit of a stinker.
Yeah.
There are 3 blowouts. The Warriors win game 1 by 15. They win game 2 by 33. The Cavs come back in game 3 and win that by 30. And then game 4, everything goes haywire.
Yeah, you could say that.
The Warriors win 108-97. It brings them to within 1 game of capping the greatest season ever. But in that win, they suffer an L2. Draymond picks up his 4th flagrant foul point of the postseason. LeBron absolutely goats him into it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I need to go on a little bit of a Stephen A. rant here for a second.
Okay.
If Michael Jordan had ever done this to a competitor, people would still be talking to this day about how, oh man, MJ was cutthroat. He was willing to do whatever he had to win a final series. Like, we'd still be talking about it, and it'd be part of his lore. LeBron doesn't get that benefit of the doubt.
No.
It's whatever. But
and also, can I just interject here?
Yeah,
Draymond should have been suspended because he managed to make Steven Adams' testicles swell in the series before. You don't get to do that.
People forget about. And here's the thing: that was a direct shot to Steven Adams' nuts.
Yes.
And we knew at that point, like, it was out there. If he picks up one more flagrant foul, he gets suspended for a game.
Yeah.
People seem to think there is this grand conspiracy theory about, like...
No, I know.
Oh, they wanted to extend the series. Draymond had been punching dudes in the nuts and yelling at referees and berating them and just being a maniac.
Yeah, you can't get away with just attacking someone's private parts. That's not okay. You can't do that.
No.
Literally, it was like Steven Adams gets hit one more. It was like in Not Another Teen Movie where they have like the tracker, and it's like if he gets hit one more time, they might be gone.
And we're back for the second half. Say good day Reggie Ray.
Sit down, boy. He just got the wind knocked out of him.
Like,
Oh my
no,
God.
you
I
can't
haven't thought
play.
about not another teen movie in so long. Thank you for bringing that up. That's a deep cut. I love it.
But no, that was not a conspiracy theory. That was Draymond. I mean, he still does it. He can't handle his emotions, and LeBron took advantage of it. Should he apologize for that? Be an adult. Like, be mature enough to handle that. You're up 3-1. You know you have 3 flagrants. You can't get one more.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if you're baited into it or not. And look, just so it doesn't sound like we're shitting all over Draymond, like, that is also kind of his superpower, that he can play and at times harness all of that energy into just like the perfect kind of two-way basketball and be the mean mugging enforcer asshole for this team that kind of does have the reputation of being a perimeter oriented sort of they're not the bad boys Pistons by any means, but
No.
Draymond gives them that edge, and it was necessary.
And he was, I mean, at this point too, like, he was unbelievable on both ends. Like, he was a true point forward, and his defense was outstanding. Like, I'm giving Draymond his flowers on the floor. And yeah, like, he probably did need to be a little bit of an enforcer because they were a bunch of nice guys, and you can't win that way. But, like, you can't get kicked out of games either. And that's something that he deserved, and it's totally flipped the series. I mean, that's just something that he's going to have to live with. He could live with winning, 4 championships. He gets to live with that. But he also has to live with the fact that he might have cost him one. I'm sure it's a risk reward that he's willing to live with. He's, 4-1, but still could be 5.
And it did, like, that attitude to a certain extent did bring him to the NBA as the 35th overall pick. He comes in with a chip on his shoulder. You kind of have to play, like, he's an undersized 4. You have to play a little bit bigger than your stature. He manages to do that, and like you said, he has to live with it. The Warriors have lived with it for 15 years. There have absolutely been some tough times along the way. Jordan Poole will tell you that. Even Steve Kerr will tell you that. Like, Rudy Gobert definitely will tell you that. Like, there are a lot of guys that Draymond's antics have negatively impacted, but I would say it's a net positive. Game 5, we go back to Oracle. No Draymond. LeBron wears the Undertaker t-shirt in the days leading up to the game, and I'll be honest, that's when I knew, okay, they're not losing this game. And LeBron and Kyrie didn't let them lose that game. They score 41 apiece on 33 for 54 shooting. Andrew Bogut suffers a season-ending knee injury in that game. It's like, everything that can go wrong for the Warriors and a 72-hour stretch does. And then we go back to Cleveland. Draymond's back. They have 2 chances to close it out still with Draymond. Mm-hmm. And for the second straight game, LeBron goes for 41. Won't let Cleveland lose. Yeah, I mean, I think you could make the case that those 2 games back-to-back, and we've done this a bunch of times with LeBron throughout Campfire, the 2 probably best games consecutively that he's played in the postseason in his career up to this point.
I was up to this point, yeah. I would say so. I mean, Game 5 was just incredible. And I got to give Kyrie his flowers, too, because in this game, his shot making was just, it separated them. It gave the Warriors and the Cavs, I felt like, knew each other so well, especially late in the series, that, like, you weren't really just running sets and getting looks. You had to kind of, like, manufacture ways to score. And Kyrie was just doing that consistently. Obviously, you knew you were going to get that from LeBron, but after Game 5, it was like, okay, Kyrie might be playing better than Curry in this series.
He absolutely was.
And we know LeBron's LeBron. Game 6, I was not nervous about going into. I was okay. This is gonna be Cavs easy.
Well, here's what I will say. Game 6, I was nervous.
Were you?
With Warriors getting Draymond back, I was nervous. This is going to sound very weird, and I definitely wouldn't have been brave enough or bold enough to put it on Twitter, so I have no receipts. I felt really good going into Game 7.
Okay.
I was nervous because it's a Game 7. Everything's on the line. But it wasn't, and I'm not trying to like brag or anything because there was no like thorough analysis of why I thought the Cavs were going to win. It was a feeling based solely on the fact that I didn't think LeBron was going to let him lose.
That's fair. That's fair.
And maybe that's all the analysis that you like really need.
Yeah.
To make a pick like that. But yeah, up to that point, Kyrie absolutely was outplaying Steph.
Yeah.
And in Game 7, he outplayed Steph again. And for as important as it was that LeBron was the best player in the series, it's equally important that Kyrie managed to outplay the unanimous MVP.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, no, and that's why, in Game 6, I felt so confident. Like, they're at home. Like, Kyrie had just came off 41. LeBron's not going to lose at home, and Kyrie's cooking. Like, they'll figure that out. I wasn't as sure in Game 7, though, so I give you credit on that. Because at that point, I'm full in on, like, dude, Kyrie is my guy. He played at Duke my senior year in high school. I went to go watch him as a graduation present. Watched one of his 11 games. I was actually at the game. He got hurt. He got hurt, but he played. So he got hurt in the first half and came back in the second half and like had 15 in the second half and then just didn't play the rest of the year.
Who did they play that game?
Butler. They played Butler in New Jersey because he was from New Jersey. Ooh. So it was like Sheldon Mack and their boys.
National championship rematch.
Yeah, and then they went back to the national championship and played UConn.
Yep.
But anyway, I was all in on the Cavs. So going into Game 6, super confident. Going into Game 7, I didn't know who was gonna win, but like I felt like deep down the Warriors were going to. I just couldn't figure out why. And the whole game, I was just conflicted. Like I didn't know who was going to win. It was a great game, just start to finish. Great game.
Welcome to Oakland, California for Game 7 of the 2016 NBA Finals, where the Golden State Warriors had a comfortable 3-1 series lead. Then 2 straight losses had their repeat hopes in some jeopardy. Meanwhile, in Cleveland, the Cavalier fans have hope again that this could be the year that the title drought comes to an end. LeBron James and the Cavs with victories in games 5 and 6 to even this series at 7 games apiece. Can they pull off the victory here tonight? Meanwhile, Golden State struggling the last couple of games, but they're back on their home floor where they're so tough to beat over the last couple of seasons.
Okay, most watched Game 7 in NBA history. The third most viewers for an NBA Finals game ever. They have 31 million. That's their average, and then it peaks at like 44.5 million. Which is actually wild to think about because we were just talking last week about the Kobe and the Warriors. Like, they're going head to head, and which one was going to have more viewers. And we were talking about how, the Warriors averaged 3.5 million. Kobe averaged 3.4, but it peaked at 5.4. It's just wild to think that, like, almost 40 million more people watched Game 7 than Kobe's last game. Obviously, you'd expect it to be higher, but the fact that it was 40 million people higher is kind of like, it's
Yeah, it's
wild
crazy.
to think about.
Yeah. What I will say though is, like, just to add on to it, it was a great day for it. It
Yeah,
was, I believe, played at like 6:30 ish or 7. It may have been like a 7 o'clock tip time.
it
Not
was 8.
Was it 8?
It was
But
8. Yeah.
it was Father's Day.
Yep.
On a Sunday. It just felt like everything lined up. Even so, it's 8. Like you did all your Father's Day duties. Went to brunch, played your golf, whatever you want to do. Mow the lawn maybe. And you got to sit down and watch it, and it felt like this was, no matter what happened, you were gonna see history, right? So either the Warriors become the best team ever, or the Cavs are the first team to come down 3-1. LeBron wins, bringing a championship back to Cleveland. Like, basically, I don't want to say, closing a book to his career, but it ties it together. Like, he needed to win a championship in Cleveland for his career to be complete. And I honestly think after he won the championship in Cleveland, his career was complete, and this is all just like gravy. Like,
Yep.
never thought he was going to be the all-time scoring leader. Obviously, that's an argument point for the GOAT, but, like, that's gravy. Like, the fact that he brought a championship to Cleveland, I was like, yep, I've seen enough. I've seen enough here. Like, that's where, and I think that's where you were going in the beginning too, is that it really just kind of put him in that atmosphere of the greatest of all time. How there might be 4 of them, there might be 5 of them. LeBron's one of them.
You know what it's kind of like? It's kind of like you've seen the movie Ali with Will Smith, right?
Mm-hmm.
They end that movie with the Rumble in the Jungle when he beats George Foreman.
Yep.
There's more shit that happens in Ali's career after that. I think he has another Joe Frazier fight. He fights Ken Norton, but it doesn't matter. That
Right.
movie, the perfect ending for it is he beats George Foreman. He beats the guy that he wasn't supposed to be able to beat. He reaches that tippy top tier.
Yeah.
And that was this game for LeBron.
Yeah.
Obviously, he has more that comes after this.
Yes.
He wins the title in the bubble. He becomes the all-time leading scorer. Like, add on how many more All-NBA teams and All-Star games. But if there's a movie made about LeBron,
This is the end.
the last scene of it is going to be him saying, "Cleveland, this is for you." And we fade out at that point.
And then the music comes, and there's the scroll that says LeBron James will go on to do all of this stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's without a doubt. And that movie will be made in like 5 years. So just check us on it when it comes out, because it's not like that movie is not coming out. But yeah, and so there's these great storylines, because as great as of that storyline was, I mean, the Warriors going 73 and 9, and then going down 3-1 to OKC to come back, and then going up and having the Cavs force it to a game set. If they win, that's a great storyline too.
Oh yeah.
So
Either way, so I wrote a piece for a website called Hardwood in Hollywood going into the finals, where the thesis of it was basically like, no matter what happens, NBA history, like, this is a pivot point.
yeah,
There's going to be before and after this game, because in a really strange way, the persons whose legacy was most impacted by this game and by this series was Michael Jordan's.
yeah,
Because he either loses that 72-10 distinction of MVP on the best team ever, most wins, they win the championship. He's either going to lose that, or there's going to be a real conversation that needs to be had about him or LeBron. Either way, he gets tangled up in this final series, which that is just another layer on top of Steph versus LeBron, and the Cavs firing Blatt, and LeBron trying to bring a title to Cleveland, and Kyrie. Like I said before, it just has everything. Anything else before we get into the game itself?
No, I think we're good to go.
All right. Starting lineups: Kyrie Irving, J.R. Smith, LeBron James, Kevin Love, Tristan Thompson. For Golden State, it's Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Harrison Barnes, Draymond Green, and Festus Ezeli starting in place of Andrew Bogut. Announcers on the call: Mike Breen, Jeff Van Gundy, Mark Jackson.
Can I give a quick also just as we kind of go through like a broadcast here? Cavs are rocking the black T-shirt jerseys. I hated the T-shirt jerseys in that era, but for some reason I love the black Cavs ones. What were your thoughts on those ones?
I don't think I had strong thoughts on it necessarily going into it, but now they're like my favorite Cavs uniforms because it's like a Pavlov's dog kind of thing. Like you hear the bell and you salivate. I see those jerseys and I just get happy.
Fair, very fair.
I do like how LeBron just ripped the sleeves of them, so it wasn't like tight on his arms. He was just like, I'm just gonna rip these jerseys and no one's gonna say a thing about it.
I just loved how Kyrie was in like a T-shirt and baggy shorts, just balling, and I was like, this is he's just a kid at LA Fitness, just going to work right now. It's awesome.
He's in his element. Yeah. Okay, so right out of the gate, Warriors look a little shaky, just like a little too wound up.
Yeah.
And like the first possession of the game ends in a Ezeli post touch. Like I don't think you want that necessarily out of your first possession. Second possession, he gets blocked at the rim by Kevin Love. They turn it over. It leads to a LeBron layup at the other end. Cavs go up 4-0 kind of right away. Next possession, Curry gets all backboard on a 3 from straight away. But they end up getting an offensive rebound. Draymond gets a dunk. That kind of stabilizes them a little bit. But it feels like a Game 7 the first few minutes of the game. Both teams are a little they're just wound up.
They are. And what I noticed even as the Warriors came out to that slow shooting start is it took me back to watching it in real time, how nervous they made you. Like, even when they weren't making shots, it just felt like at any point they could blitz you for a 12-0 run. And, you had to stay connected to your guy at all times. And, every single offensive possession that you got a defensive rebound, you were like, oh, thank God. It was incredible. And it proves true. I mean, the Cavs jump out to a 4-point lead, but then the Warriors respond with an 8-0 run. And it's just the star power on that team and the way they played and their shot making, especially from 3, which is, it's 33% more points than a 2-point shot. It's incredibly efficient. So it just felt like at any point they could go on this crazy run and you just had to stay locked in. So every defensive rebound was such a win, I remember. So them getting off to a slow start, I remember being excited, but oh my gosh, this is going to be a long game because I'm already nervous.
Yeah, I actually had that point later in my notes about how after every shot, you needed to close a possession with a defensive rebound. Mm-hmm. And it was every 50-50 ball, you felt like Cleveland has to get this.
Yes.
The whole game could swing if this goes the other way.
Yep.
Like that, we'll get. It's a little bit later, but this is the point where I took the note. There's the play where LeBron and JR run a pick and roll from the left side, and Steph gets switched out onto LeBron. And JR throws LeBron the pass into the corner, and it just slips right through Steph's hands, and LeBron ends up getting a dunk. And I remember in that moment feeling like, whew, okay, we got that one.
Yep.
It was like every 50-50 ball that went Cleveland's way, it was like a victory in and of itself.
Absolutely.
Because all it takes is one of those, transition three, crowds going crazy, Steph sees one going down. That's when it gets to be an 11-0 run in the course of 90 seconds, and you're done.
Yep. They just have a way of ending game, like just kill shots. Like they're like a boxer with that knockout, and you just have to bob and weave the whole game, because if they hit you once, you might be night. So
yeah, they're mid 80s Tyson.
Yeah, that's a great comparison. Another thing that I noticed kind of early on was it felt like the Warriors' ball was, popping, and that made the defense, have to move, and the Cavs were playing really hard, and I thought that they were really connected on defense. And on the other end, I felt like Cleveland was, like, matchup hunting, and they did a really nice job of making the Warriors kind of defend and move on that end. So both teams were really playing good defense, were playing hard defense, and both offenses were putting the defenses in tough situations, just doing it differently.
That's like all it was for Cleveland these last three games.
Yep.
It was just like, what favorable matchup can we squeeze out of this possession?
Yep.
And like, they were no longer running like a free-flowing set offense. It didn't seem like you would have a better idea of identifying that than I would. But to me, it was just like every possession. It was, what one-on-one matchup can we get that works in our advantage?
Yep. It was like we're gonna try to get Steph involved in as many ball screens as possible, and then we're also gonna try to get a switch on LeBron and then put him in the post, and they were going to double, and then he was going to play out of the double, a couple swings. JR got a couple threes to go off that. Well, one to start in the first half, because the Cavs struggled in the first half shooting, but no, it really was just matchup hunting, and they did it a couple of different ways, and it's probably the way they had to do it. Mm-hmm. They didn't have the players like Golden State to just run a free-flowing offense, but they had two of the best one-on-one players at the time. So do with what you got.
No, I mean, know where your bread is buttered.
Yep.
That's kind of how I look at it. Like,
dance with the girl you brought. That's what Coach Rapone used to always say.
One mismatch that did not work in Cleveland's favor. There was a possession early where Clay's guarding Kyrie to start, and they get a switch where Clay ends up on Kevin Love, and they get the ball into Love in the post, and this kind of goes on what we were talking about Clay last week, about his defense. He just stonewalls Kevin Love.
Yeah.
And the fact that he is starting the game on Kyrie, that's exactly what we were talking about. You could comfortably put him on anybody 1 through 4 at that time and feel okay about the matchup.
Yeah.
Like that was the one guy you don't want to try to put into a switch or anything.
No. I mean, that's why they were just running ball screen after ball screen with whoever Steph was guarding, because they didn't want Kyrie going at Clay. I mean, Clay really, in my opinion, he really, made Kyrie shoot a lot of tough shots. Now, luckily, that's just what he is good at, but he played incredible defense on him. Like, he didn't get anything really easy. He didn't get much to the basket unless it was on a switch. Like, Clay kept him in front. And then when he did get switched on to, like, K. Love or Tristan Thompson, like, you weren't just going to bully him in the post. He was exceptional on defense, and so was Draymond. And then you bring in Iguodala. And, like, Azili is a big guy. He's a shot blocker.
Right.
They were really underrated, I think, defensively. And you think the Warriors, especially this year, you think of, Steph hit 402 threes and Clay made 275 or whatever he did. You just think they're all offense. But, like, they were a really complete basketball team on both ends. And it made Cleveland be damn near perfect. I think that's what you were talking about with the loose balls. It felt like Cleveland had to be, like, maybe not, they didn't have to get 100 on the test, but, like, they had to get a 97. Like,
Yeah.
You go into finals and your professor's like, hey, you need a 97 to pass. Like, that's tough, I haven't been there. Friend had.
Warriors defensive rating during the regular season, 103.8, fifth best defense in the league. So
Yeah, they were solid.
You're right, though. You look at it, they're first in offense. That's what everyone will think about. But, and, credit to Mark Jackson. This goes back to when he was the coach and something he actually did really well. They hung their hat on playing really solid defense when he was there, and that was something that Kerr sort of continued with.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Warriors, as you said before, they go on an 8-0 run. They're up 8-4. LeBron, I felt, was very passive early on. And it wasn't even necessarily anything that I saw Golden State's defense doing that was, like, forcing him to be passive. It almost looked, and, now it's easy to say this, it looked like he realized he had to go the full 48.
Yeah.
And that he couldn't go pedal to the metal all 48. It was almost like he had to, like, pace himself within the game. And he obviously got very good at that the older he got, like, deep into his career, finding the pockets of time when he could afford a little bit of rest on the court. But there were 3 or 4 occasions in the first quarter alone where he gets into the paint and he's not even looking for a shot. It's just get other guys involved. Get them their shot. See if we can get somebody in a rhythm, whether it be JR, whether it be Kevin Love, Kyrie. Like, he was playing point guard. It wasn't even really point forward. He was trying to get everybody else their shots, their touches, and energy conservation mode.
Absolutely, and I would like to point out that it was on the offensive end, and it was mostly like when Cleveland had, say they go, like Cleveland goes up like 4, like he might, look to get someone else involved, or he might even just like go in the corner and let Kyrie kind of play pick and roll. But it wasn't ever defensively. Like,
No.
He never ever, like, it never was like, oh, LeBron's just kind of coasting on defense to save energy. He did it in a way where it wasn't going to hurt his team. So you Jordan hater lovers, don't take that as, like, any slander on LeBron. That's just being smart. He had to play 48 minutes, and he wasn't going to be able to do that, dominating the ball every single possession. So that's just the way it is.
No, in fact, the opposite is true defensively. It's funny to me how every once in a while, especially in the playoffs, LeBron will just transform into Hakeem Olajuwon defensively.
Yeah.
It's like a switch flips in his head, and he's like, okay, I'm going to be the best rim protector in the world right now. And that happens. I made that point later in the second half where there's a 3 or 4 possession run where he gets like a steal and 2 blocks, and it's like, Jesus, he is all over the place defensively.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's just offensively where he's being passive.
But I will say, and you made the note earlier, I think it was when you were talking about the 50-50 balls, with 3 minutes left in the quarter, he gets that 50-50 ball and he goes baseline on the left. He could have dunked that on a 12-foot rim. That was maybe the highest I have seen it. That I remember in real time being like, oh my gosh. And he kind of hung on the rim a little extra long.
Yeah.
That was kind of at the point where I was like, this is going to go down to the wire. Like, the Cleveland is not going away quietly. Because obviously Golden State goes on that 8-0 run, but then, it's 11-10, it's, 15-17. It's kind of close throughout. Steph hits his second three in the first later on, but then Kyrie responds right back. And it's like all of the All-Stars are shining. Draymond's playing outstanding. He has a strong take to the basket to go up 3 later in the quarter, but then Kevin Love dominates the offensive glass and has 4 free throws in a row.
Yep.
Cavs go up 1 to end the quarter, and it was like a dogfight, but you got to see these little glimmers of just outstanding basketball from these All-Stars. It made for a great watch.
Yeah, to give a little bit more credit to Love, because you called it out. He had 4 offensive rebounds in the first quarter.
Yeah.
7 total. He was averaging 4 rebounds per game in games 2 through 6.
Yep.
He credit to him. He was out there looking like I did during COVID with the beard and the hair. He was in full West Virginia Mountaineer mode.
Yeah,
and he was playing like it. I mean, he drew
he was
2 fouls.
coming off a concussion too, right? When did he get the concussion? That was game 4, maybe?
Yeah, shoot. I don't remember. It might have been game 4.
I should have looked that up prior to just asking you on the spot, like we got producers here. But he did just have this lunch pail mentality, and yeah, he didn't play in game 4, so he must have had it and got it in game 3.
Yeah. He wasn't playing the game that Draymond got
Kicked LeBron in the presence.
Yeah. Because I remember thinking at the time, okay, they just played without Kevin Love. No one talks about that Love
Right.
missed the game.
Right.
Obviously, Love doesn't have the importance that Draymond does, but
It was a thing though, and he had been struggling in going into the finals, and he missed a game, and I don't think he started in game 5 even, but he needed to be impactful, and in the first quarter he struggled, like you said. They got a switch with him and Clay, and he didn't really do anything. He was struggling on offense. LeBron was hitting him at the top of the key for a couple open threes that were good looks. He shot them well. They were just long. It felt like he couldn't get anything to go. And it felt like he just decided, okay, I'm going to dedicate my efforts to just go get every single rebound I could. And that's what it felt like for both teams, is these all-star players were just doing whatever they needed to do for their team to win. Whether that's diving on a loose ball or, JR playing outstanding defense. When you think of J.R. Smith, you don't think, this defensive stopper, but he was fully bought in. He chased Curry around all game long, was pretty solid on the ball. It was amazing, just the efforts of these guys, these all-stars doing these role player like duties.
Mm-hmm. And even punching above your weight, the fact that Draymond starts the game 5 for 5 from 3.
Yeah.
When he had missed 12 threes in a row going into game 7, and now all of a sudden he hits 5 in a row to start things
And it kind of kept him in it, because in the second quarter, Livingston comes in and he hits a mid-range to start, which in my notes I said, believe it or not, he's the only person to shoot 100% from the mid-range, Sean Livingston.
Well, that was his 548th consecutive mid-range jumper that he made that year.
But then LeBron is just unstoppable going to the basket in the second quarter to start. Kyrie gets going a little bit, but it's every time Cleveland goes on a little run, Draymond answers with a 3. And like you said, he had missed 12 in a row prior to that. So yeah, it was the stars were out. That's for sure.
One thing about LeBron playing a little more aggressive to start the second quarter. Did you know what Ty Lue said during his between quarters interview?
I didn't.
So Doris asked him about LeBron's 3 turnovers, and he said, it's just not being aggressive. He's not attacking. Don't try to think the game, play the game. And that's sort of how LeBron came out to start the second quarter. It was a little bit more like, I'm just going to play bully ball. If I want to get to the rim, you can't stop me. And I'm not going to be passive anymore when I get 2 feet in the paint. Like, it's going to be a shot. Mo Williams gets 4 minutes of action.
Yeah.
To
Get
start
a little
the second
fast break
quarter.
layup off a Draymond turnover.
Yep. Big Z's my all-time favorite LeBron teammate, as we've talked about. Mo Williams is on the Mount Rushmore, though.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
So Mount Rushmore for me: Big Z, Mo Williams, Chris Bosh, Shane Battier.
Oh,
Then
God,
honorable.
show.
No, not Verjao. Not Verjao. Honorable mention: Kyrie. Him forcing his way out of Cleveland after the 2017, that like docked him points. That kept him out of
that's
the
fair.
Final Four. Boobie Gibson, Kevin Love, and Bubble Anthony Davis.
Oh, Bubba Anthony. I was like, he played with a guy named Bubba?
That's a weird nickname.
That's an interesting nickname. No, that's a good group. Boobie Gibson was solid. Love him. That's a good group.
Do you have a Mount Rushmore of Kobe teammates? Or you could do Duke players too if you want to do a Mount Rushmore. I'm putting you on the spot here, but
I mean, I'll say Mount Rushmore. You know, the thing with Kobe's teammates were like, kind of just liked it when Kobe shot all the time, so I didn't really like have like a deep passion for any of his teammates.
No, that's kind of.
But like I did really like Gasol. I actually really liked Andrew Bynum. I like Shannon Brown, and I liked. Who else did I like with Kobe? Hated Derek Fisher. Did not like Derek Fisher. I like Matt Barnes. I was a big Matt Barnes guy. Okay. I thought, because it was like a protector. Like, if anyone gets in Kobe's face, he's gonna punch him. Like, that's cool. Like, but yeah, no, I'm in here doing some research, so that's why I was a little off guard when you told me that, because there actually is legitimate like sources on how Ty Lue called LeBron out in Game 7. So I just kind of, when you said that, what he said in the interview, I didn't hear that, but it kind of reminded me that he did get kind of on LeBron in Game 7 to the point where I think LeBron kind of got a little pissed off, and I think that's all that he needed. He needed to get a little pissed off, and it totally changed the game. But yeah, no, those two good Mount Rushmore lists though. Didn't think Shannon Brown was going to get brought up in this interview or this podcast.
No, that was a deep cut. I wasn't expecting that one. I wasn't even expecting Matt Barnes, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Do you not count Chris Duhon?
No.
Duhon was a Kobe.
He was. Because like I would also put McRoberts in there. He played with them, but
when I made my Mount Rushmore for LeBron teammates, it was specifically their time as a teammate of LeBron, not factoring in anything before or after.
Yeah.
So like I love Luka, but I don't like he's not a great LeBron teammate.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like he's a great player. He's probably arguably the best player that LeBron has played with. But
it's a feel thing. It's just a feel thing.
Yeah. Okay, now that we have got off of that sidetrack. So yeah, Draymond gets on a second quarter heater. He goes 4 for 4 from 3 in the second quarter alone. 15 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists in the quarter. Meanwhile, we get to the midway point of the second quarter, and the Cavs still haven't hit a 3. And Golden State at that point, I think they've hit 7, and the fact that it's a 4-point game kind of feels like a miracle that Cleveland has kept it that close, even though the Warriors are shooting better than 50% from 3. The Cavs haven't hit 1. It's our man Iman Shumpert who gets him off the schneid. He hits a 3, gets fouled on the play, misses the free throw, but that cuts it to 1. And then in my notes, I just noted, I put, shit starts to pick up. And it starts with Steph going to the basket and LeBron getting another massive block on him. He got one a couple games earlier, the game before, where he's famously looking back at him, talking some shit. They exchange some words here. Teammates have to get between them. It's great that Steph and LeBron are boys now. I love it. I love that, like, in their old age, they're, like, tight. But it was so fucking fun when they were at the peak of their rivalry.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
It was, and, you know, it actually, I was thinking about it last night. This is actually the rivalry that people wanted LeBron and Kobe to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, and different, but the way that we got to see them at the highest level, and they were both playing the highest. I don't like Kobe's not Steph in his demeanor. I think it would have been a little bit different with that, because Steph was like this, like, I mean, he was a choir boy. He was, you know, the babyface assassin. He was gonna smile at you and laugh, and at that point, LeBron was a little bit more tough. He was going to kind of mean mug you. He was going to tell you answer or ask better questions in his post game, do all that type of stuff. But no, at this point, LeBron totally tracks him down. Like, he almost lets Steph get the layup up just to block him. And they start chirping. Draymond gets into it, and then the gameplay picks up too. Like, I think it goes like Kyrie gets a traditional 3-point play, then Draymond hits a 3, then LeBron comes down and gets an and one, and it's just back and forth. It's chippy. Both teams are playing hard. Warriors actually go on a little mini run to go up 7, and it's the largest lead of the game so far. But then Steph picks up his 3rd foul, and has to go to the bench. He only has 9 points. Felt like they were pretty solid on him throughout the first half. But it's getting chippy for sure. We're in Game 7. That's what needed to happen.
It's getting chippy, and like you said, the gameplay picks up a little bit. And it's like, now it's at the end of and we're gonna just keep going back to boxing analogies, because we've done the Tyson, we've done Ali. It's like the final 10 seconds in a round when they hear the fucking the timer where there's 10 seconds left. And they just start throwing a little bit. They just stand toe to toe and they're throwing punches. It felt like there was like a 6 possession sequence where that happened. Yeah, and it felt like it was Draymond. It felt like it was Draymond in every possession for Golden State. Yeah, it's capped. He gets an and one lay-in. And he flexes, and I swear to God, the first thing I thought of was Lex Luger. Because he's just standing there flexing, and it's like he's in full-blown wrestling mode right now. 22. And again, that's the good side of that Draymond energy. Yeah. I mean, and he had 22 in the first half. Just everywhere on defense, felt like he was making every play on offense. He was getting the crowd involved. Like, that is the good part of Draymond, and you can't get that without that
wrestler mentality in a sense.
Yeah.
Like, he does play to the crowd. He plays that role. Like, that's, I think that's probably who he is as a person, but then when he goes on the court, he cranks it up a little bit. And
Right.
that's what makes him great. Also what makes him, possibly have to miss a game. But anyway, the half ends with the Warriors up 7. Draymond has 22. LeBron has 12, 8, and 5. Golden State's hit 10 threes. Cleveland's made 1. At this point, you said you were confident going into the game. Where were you going into the second half?
Not as confident, but not totally shook the way I was 3 years earlier when I texted our cousin congratulations at halftime and sincerely thought it was over. My thinking going into halftime was the first 4 minutes of this half are probably going to dictate how things go. Because the Warriors all season long, it had been that first 4 minutes of the third quarter where they will take an 8-point lead and make it 24.
Mm-hmm.
And you're done. And we'd kind of seen that a couple times already in this series where Cavs are hanging around, and then it's just an explosion and it's over. So my feeling at halftime was if they could just weather these first 4 minutes, if they could get to the under 7 and it still be single digits, we're okay.
Yeah, I agree. Just to go off that, great analysis. To me, the first 4 minutes of any second half is the most important time frame of any game.
Yeah.
It totally, it either knocks you out, like you said, it could go from 8 to 18. Game tends to be over. Maybe not so much in the NBA, but just in general. Or if the other team, if the losing team goes on a little run or just hangs around, you could get an idea, okay, this is going to go down to the end. So no, the first 4 minutes, and especially Golden State all year long, that was their time where they would throw their haymakers. I just remember thinking, like, at that point, the Cavs had shot so poorly. And I'm going to be honest, too, at that point this sounds really bad, I was like, I'm sorry, Kyrie is better than Steph right now. He's not playing. He didn't even have a good first half. Like, he's not going to just come out and explode. I had lost confidence that Steph was just going to go off for 25 in the second. Mm-hmm. And I was like, there's no way that I actually was more confident going into the second half than I was the game. Like, going into the thing. Just because after Draymond's not going to go off for 48. And I just don't think Steph, he just wasn't playing. He really didn't have a good series in back-to-back finals. Cleveland did a really, really good job. And that's why I wanted to just praise JR and Shumpert, because they were dogs the first two series against him for sure.
I think the fact that the Warriors were shooting as well from 3 and Draymond had 22, I think that's what worried me, was that, okay, he's not going to continue to shoot that way, and to some extent he did.
Right,
but my worry was we're not going to get through the second half. Like, Curry and Clay aren't going to combine for only 14 points in the second half again.
Right.
That was my worry, because Curry had 9, Clay had 5. And my thing was, I just don't see how that's going to hold.
Fair.
That was my worry. I thought if they come out in the first 4 minutes and each of those two both hit a pair of threes, this could be done. It could be lights out at the under 7.
That's a better thought process than mine, without a doubt. I was just bullish on Uncle Drew is better than Kyrie at this point, so I was like,
But here's the thing, you kind of alluded to it at the beginning. Like, these two teams had figured each other out.
Right.
It really did kind of boil down to, like, who's just going to do a better job of scoring in the half court? Who's going to manufacture the right kind of shots? And with Golden State, it was always going to be a little bit more ball movement, player movement. The Cavs were going to go about doing it a different way. They were going to hunt mismatches and live with the results. And it was just who does a better job of doing what they want to do. So to start the second quarter, Klay gets 5 straight points at one point.
Yep.
The Warriors lead balloons to 8. But then the Cavs respond with an 8-0 run of their own.
Swish.
Big JR sequence. Well contested 3 over Draymond. Then the next possession, LeBron's in the mid post on the right side. Kyrie sets a really nice flare screen for JR, frees him up. He kind of sidesteps a defender, hits another 3. That cuts to 2. Then Kyrie gets Zealy on a switch.
Lefty
Tight
leg.
ropes the baseline. Lefty on the right side of the hoop. Just a vintage Kyrie kind of play. So it's 54-54. Warriors call a timeout. The Cavs have weathered the storm. They did exactly what they needed to do. They even survived the mini 5-0 run that Klay goes on back-to-back possessions. Like, they did what they needed to do. But then there's another...
Finish, because you're going to go right to the same point I was going to make.
So then there's another mini Warriors run, and there's a 50-50 sequence that goes Golden State's way.
Yep.
And in that moment, you think, son of a bitch. Like,
it's exactly what you were talking about earlier. Those 50-50 balls you feel like you have to get, because if you don't, they're going to go on a flurry. And it was another JR LeBron. They were in the same... It was literally JR, LeBron, and Steph.
yeah.
In the first half, you mentioned how it went through Steph's hands and LeBron got it, and he dunked on an 18-foot hoop. They raised the hoop up, and he dunked on it. In this half, though, JR is coming down in transition and throws LeBron a lob, and Steph reads it and blocks it and comes down and hits a 3. And it's like, those are the plays that you just can't have and beat this team, especially in Golden State. And he goes on that 5-0 run. Both teams just throwing haymakers more. I've said that 18 times, but it's the truth. Like, they're just going at it.
That's exactly how it felt in the moment. It was... I mean, I've said it a couple times leading into this game when we've been, like, talking about this one on past episodes. Like, this was the most tense basketball experience of my life as a fan. And there really isn't another game that's particularly close. So Steph goes on that 5-0 run all by himself. He gets a transition layup, finishes over Kevin Love. He hits a 3. But then the Cavs, to their credit, go on a 14-2 run over a 3.5-minute span. They go from down 59-54 to up 68-61. And this was the Kyrie stretch.
Those layups in transition over Draymond, when he starts going like this, oh man, I was hype. Here
comes Irving. Irving drives past Green. The foul. Shot's good and one. Oh, what a sweet move from Kyrie Irving. And the Cavaliers with their largest lead of the night. Careless basketball by Curry in the pick and roll. Good job by Kevin Love. And then the active hands to come up with the turnover. And Uncle Drew putting on a clinic in this third quarter. Takes the contact. How about the beautiful finish with the left hand? My goodness. Spectacular. 8 of his 17 points.
Talking I was in a room full of Warriors fans, and I was just talking my ish. Oh boy!
Who? Okay, yeah, we didn't cover this. Who were you watching with? Was this another hot tub game?
Yeah, I was watching it with Phil, Doc, Stucco's sister Meg, shout out Meg, and I was at the Bison's house, and it was predominantly Warriors fans, and I was just hanging in there, just repping Kyrie, had my Kyrie jersey, and yeah, when this third quarter, whew, Uncle Drew was here. Uncle Drew was here. This was prime Kyrie. This was fun Kyrie. Kyrie's had a lot of phases in his career, and you could love him, you could hate him, you could disagree with him. I'll let you do whatever you want to do with that. But when he is at his peak as a basketball player, he's one of the most entertaining players to watch, and I stand by that, and I'll argue that to the day I die. And this was peak Kyrie. He was getting his finishes to go. He had his handle. He was getting in his bag. He was hitting tough jumpers. There was a point in time where he gets switched out on Draymond, crosses him up, gets to the lane, gets like this crazy shot, just attempt off, like he maneuvers in air. He misses it, but then gets his own rebound and puts it back. And it's just, he does stuff as a 6'1" guy that you just aren't used to seeing, with the way he could finish through contact and with all of his different finishing packages. It's awesome to rewatch. I love him.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's a bunch there. You hit on most of them. The one to me, and you did the finger guns, which he pulls out the Shooter McGavin after he makes it. It's the lefty high off the glass that he gets the and one going at Draymond. And he's like a one of one on that specific kind of finish. Like, I feel like if somebody like just put like a silhouette of that play and you didn't actually see the player, but you saw the motion of it, you would be able to identify that is Kyrie Irving.
Yep.
There's one guy who moves that way and could put that kind of English on a shot off the glass and have the body control that he does. Like you said, you know, people could talk about the off-court shit, the way that some of his tenures with teams have ended, but when he had it going on, it was beautiful to watch.
And it's just so different, right? Because when you think of an exciting player to watch, you think of this guy who's high-flying, super athletic, and he was very quick and he was very athletic, but he played below the rim. Like, I say it all the time, and my friends get so annoyed, but he makes layups fun. Like, he just...
Yes.
And you know, it started a generation of people wanting to do jelly. That's just become a phenomenon of, like, we're going to, do these crazy layups. At that time, though, like, he just was a pop culture kind of phenomenon. He had the Uncle Drew commercials. I think there was like a trendy dance that the Cavs did that he was a part of during that playoff run. It just felt like everyone was really enjoying themselves, some Kyrie, and the way he played was just energetic. It was different. But obviously he has other things that people don't like. But just his gameplay, it's hard not to watch and be like, that guy's not fun to watch.
You know what makes him so different? You hear a lot about how basketball is like jazz.
Mm-hmm.
I think he might epitomize that in a way that very few other guys do. Like, jazz is free flowing and it's all about expression, and like there was an expressiveness with the way that he played, and I guess like unpredictability.
Yeah.
Just like even with like the little things of like, as he's attacking the basket, he's gonna go off the wrong foot.
Yeah.
Like little minute shit like that just like, but he's capable of it. Mm-hmm. And obviously other guys are capable of it too, but when you put the whole package together,
it was like watching art.
Yeah.
with the way he dribbles, with his handle, how tight it is, with some of the moves that he would make, like you said, his body control. And we probably spent too much time just on Kyrie alone, but he was just phenomenal through this 8-minute stretch of the third quarter. He has 12 points in the quarter alone, gives them 21 for the game. Cavs finally take a little bit of a lead, and I think at that point you start to think like, uh-oh, Golden State might be getting tight. Like this might be going the Cavs' way. But then Draymond hits his 6th 3, and it's like they won't die. LeBron's playing this great game. He's almost got a triple-double. Kyrie goes off, and you expect that Cleveland should be up. They've really limited Steph and Clay. Kyrie's got 21, and Livingston hits his 900 mid-range jumper to put the Warriors up 1 at the end of the quarter. And it's just like, oh my goodness, like what could they do to win this game?
Yeah, 76-75 going into the fourth quarter. You're right. As much as it felt like in the first half, man, the Warriors should be up more. The Cavs have made 1 3. They've made, I think, 8 in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
It felt the same way at the end of the third quarter. We're like, holy shit, how are the Cavs down 1 right now? With the stretch that Kyrie just had, Curry is still kind of limited. He only has 14. Like, Clay has 10. It really was Draymond.
Yeah.
It was Draymond. He had 28, 8, and 7 at the end of the third quarter. Not missing from downtown. And now we begin the most nerve-wracking 12 minutes of basketball and 45 minutes of life that I have ever experienced.
So what was the score going into the third again?
76-75.
Holy moly. Okay, yeah. This was if you like 80s basketball, if you like 90s basketball, there's no excuse not to love this game.
No, because it wasn't, I don't think it was necessarily like bad offense. There were some bad misses in this stretch, but I felt like it was a product of how hard these two teams were playing defensively. Just leaving everything out there on the floor.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, they've played, over 20 quarter. I mean, they know each other. Like, they've seen everything that the other team has ran. So it really is just, like, who's going to make a play. You're not going to get an open look. You have to make a difficult jumper. You have to, get an offensive rebound. You have to get a steal in transition. There's not going to be an easy bucket. And it just felt like who was going to manufacture 15 points. Like, that's what it felt like. You weren't going to get a 25-point quarter this
No.
specifically.
No, and like early on especially, it was all really tough buckets. Like you mentioned the one Kyrie one where he goes to the basket, he attacks Draymond, he misses the initial shot at the rim, and kind of in one motion follows his own shot and lays it in. Not long after that, LeBron hits a really tough running banker on the left side, and then that's immediately followed by a tough Curry ISO 3 over Tristan Thompson. Tristan plays really good defense on that possession. Steph just...
That was a nice little snatch back, step back.
Yeah, I mean, it's just... Face. Yeah. So Clay gets a long two. Draymond gets a putback. Then there are 2 possessions in a row where the Cavs mismatch hunt Azili onto LeBron. And LeBron gets him to bite on a shot fake from 3 on the first possession. Foul, hits all 3 free throws. Very next possession, run the same thing. And what's funny is on the broadcast, Mark Jackson, credit to Mark, he called it out. He said, if I'm Ty Lue, I'm going right back to that. I'm going right back to get Ezeli on LeBron and let him work. And he does. This time he hits a 3 over Ezeli. Cavs go up 2.
And that was right after Steph had that horrible turnover, right?
The behind the back.
Yeah, so
Yep.
The Warriors are up 4 with 6 left, and like you said, LeBron hits the 3 free throws. Warriors are up 1, and he throws this inexcusable left-handed behind the back pass to Klay Thompson that goes out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
And then like you know, LeBron gets it in that left wing. That's LeBron's sweet spot. Like, you don't want LeBron shooting a 3 from that area. Like, that's his ultimate. He's going to shoot a step back. It will go in, just so you know.
What's funny is, though, up to that point, like, this was almost the start of that becoming his shot.
Uh-huh.
Because he didn't do it, like, as much in Miami. It was, like, when he comes back to Cleveland, he adds that. Mm-hmm. And now that's, like, almost the defining
He's going to look down to the right. Yep. Look at the ball, and then he's going to... And it is unbelievable. As soon as he even was on that area of the floor, I was like, all right, we're going to take the lead. We're good.
Yep. So, yeah, he hits the 3 over Ezeli, and then next possession, Klay gets a lay-in. It's 89-89. And now we have the longest scoring drought of my life. There's not a point scored in the game for 3 minutes and 46 seconds. From 4:39 to 53 seconds left. No free throws, no buckets. It was like 15 minutes of real time. And it aged me about like 4.5 years.
After the first minute and a half of the drought, it really was like the next team that scores is going to win, right? Is that how you... That's how you were watching it?
I swear to God, my next note, after about a minute and a half without a bucket, it started feeling like it was going to be next basket wins. And I also noted this was around the same time that my fingers and toes started going numb.
What? We got to get that checked out. You never told me that.
Then I had a full-blown panic attack in the last 4 minutes of this game. Legitimate. I know it was a panic attack because I've had multiple panic attacks. I had a panic attack in the last 4 minutes of this game.
I'm sorry, it's not funny.
No, it is funny now. and it's funny because the Cavs win. And it's 10 years removed. It is funny. In the moment, it was not funny because my fingers and toes are going numb. Yep. I can't. Like, there's no feeling in my extremities.
And it's the atmosphere and the way they're playing, and the refs are letting them play too. Point that out. It feels like that open gym that's very competitive, and it's game point, and there's no refs, and you're stuck on that game point for 10 minutes because there's no easy baskets. Both teams are sprinting back on defense, which that doesn't happen in pickup basketball. It just was like they were just locked. Couldn't do anything. So I feel for you because it really was like whoever scores here is going to win. And you didn't know who it was going to be. It felt like each team got some good looks. They didn't, they weren't making
each team got some good looks, and each team also had some absolutely horrendous
possession
shots. It was a weird mix of man, we dodged a bullet there. There was one opportunity, Steph had a wide open 3 and misses it. But then there are other ones where it's God, they could not have played better defense on that possession.
Right. And it all kind of comes to an end, I feel like, with a minute 45 left when Kyrie gets to the basket. And it's not a good look. It's not a good shot. And he shoots a floater, kind of misses badly. And that's when we get the play of the game, the play of the decade, play of the century, who's to say. It's the block by James.
Irving drives, hop step inside, floats it up, misses. Rebound taken by Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
So again, it all starts with the Kyrie floater, and then I'll kind of let you take it away. What was going through your head during that point?
Now it wasn't just my fingers and toes; it was my hands and feet.
Yep.
I'll be honest. I remember there being like some sense of relief with the block, like momentary, because it, like, you're right. For 2.5 minutes now, we've been in a situation where it feels like next basket wins.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, if you look at this play, Kyrie misses that shot, and they come out. Iguodala comes out of the fray with the ball, and right as they start into transition, you have Iguodala, you have Curry, and you have Clay, and you have JR the furthest back.
Mm-hmm.
So right out of the gate, it's a 3-on-1 break. Then within like 2 strides, LeBron has surpassed Clay. But he's still behind the play, and I'm actually going to make sure I freeze frame here where LeBron is when Curry passes back to Iguodala. Because if you just freeze it there, it seems impossible that he could get to this block. And we've seen LeBron at this point how many chase down blocks in his career. But it just seemed like there was too much ground for him to have to cover to actually get this one. Now, credit to JR because he doesn't foul.
Mm-hmm.
He just makes Iguodala kind of like double pump and kind of bring it down. Like he delays the release of the shot just long enough for LeBron to get there. But LeBron gets the block. I'm at the point where like I have been standing. I can't stand anymore because I can't feel my feet, but I also can't sit still to like sit down. And then another fucking minute of game action goes by before we get a bucket.
Yep.
Like it's not like it's the next possession. Kyrie comes down and hits the shot, and it's like sigh of relief. The struggle still continues.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ty Lue called a timeout with 1:09 left. I'm in shambles at this point. My lips are numb. I'm just a shell of a functional human being. And then we get the shot.
Curry and Thompson. Each team has a foul to give as we come up on a minute remaining.
And they're putting Curry in the pick and roll, trying to get him on Irving.
Irving and Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's good! Kyrie Irving from downtown! And the Cavaliers...
Oh, we do.
And I'll let you take this one because Kyrie's your guy.
Oh, man. I remember that they called the timeout with 1:09 left, and when they come out of the timeout, it's clear that they're going to give Kyrie a high ball screen. And they give him a high ball screen. JR comes. I think he sets 2 screens to get Steph switched onto Kai, and he takes him over to the right wing. And at that point, I'm standing and I'm saying, "Cook that man, cook him!" Like I am like screaming at the TV, and he does the old. He rocks him to sleep. So he goes. I think he does a tween right to left, tween left to right, and then he kind of goes back and forth. He rocks the cradle a little bit, gets back to his right hand, hits him with like a hezzy in and out, step going right, and that's Kyrie's spot. So like LeBron spots the left wing, Kyrie has always been right wing, right hand pull up, like tough to beat. And as soon as he rose up, I stand up. And then, the rest is history. It's, to me, like, it goes down as an underrated shot because of the block was so big. It's one of the best shots in finals history. To me, as a Kyrie fan, it was like kind of vindicating in the sense of like he outplayed Steph. Like he hit the shot over him too. Steph's a better player. He's had a better career. I'm not trying to say that, but in this finals, Kyrie, he outplayed Steph Curry and he hit the shot to win the game and to beat him, and he did it over him. So as a Kyrie fan, that was one of the probably coolest basketball moments of my life.
Yeah, I get why it would be. I was too emotionally broken.
Yeah, what were your thoughts? Were you a little pissed that like why isn't the ball in LeBron's hands at that point?
Nope. Nope. I had complete faith in Kyrie. I felt comfortable about it. As soon as I saw that the mandate was clearly however many screen attempts it takes to get Steph onto Kyrie, do it. And it only took 2, and Kyrie got into a sweet spot. It's funny that like you could tell he modeled his game a lot after Kobe. Because that's kind of the Kobe spot too. Like right wing, get to his right hand, rise up for the jumper. Like that felt very much like a Kobe sort of shot. Like the ball handling, a little different, but like it's the shot.
Yeah.
And it's one of the all-time cold-blooded I'm him moments in league history. I mean, I think from the last 25 years, if we're talking biggest NBA final shots, it's either this one or Ray Allen's, right? Like,
right.
I don't...
This one was, hey, the unanimous MVP. Let's come over here on this island. It's just me and you. You got to try to guard me.
It was Game 7, too.
Yeah.
It was Game 7. It was on the road. It comes close to clinching the finals. But what's crazy is, and I think this is maybe why, like you said, the block is so incredible that it like takes some of the shine off of Kyrie's shot. I think part of that, too, is there's no stop in action. Golden State comes right back into a possession, and here's where we get Kevin Love's contribution to all this.
Yep.
Playing the defensive possession of a lifetime where he switched on to Steph. So he manages to survive a behind the back, an in and out hezzy, a between the legs crossover, Steph getting off the ball, then a closeout on a shot fake, another head fake, and then he still manages to get an unbelievable contest on a 3 that back rims almost fucking went in. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy because Cleveland, up to this point, had been a sports city known for one-word heartbreak.
Yep.
There's the shot for Jordan over Elo. There's the drive. There's the fumble. There's even the decision. And now in a minute and a half span of game time, you get the block, the shot, and the stop.
Love picks up Curry. Curry steps back, fakes a 3, drives again, shut off nicely, found a Green, 7 to shoot. Curry fakes the 3, steps back, crossover, puts up a 3. Rebound.
It reverses 52 years of Cleveland sports misery. But I will say, Love plays an incredible defensive possession. Kyrie tries to kill me.
He goes rogue. What was he doing?
No idea. No idea. I was motherfucking him so bad as I was watching the game. If I could get out words, I don't know if I said, like, what the fuck are you doing? I probably was just babbling. My parents would probably be able to tell you better what I was saying, but attacks right away, didn't need to, nearly dribbles out of bounds, almost throws the ball away. Golden State has a foul to give, which they really shouldn't have given because they commit the foul with 18 seconds left. There's 11 on the shot clock. That resets it to 14. So they cost themselves like 3.5 seconds
Right.
by committing that foul when Cleveland was all out of sorts. LeBron had the ball basically at the half-court line. There's no flow to what they're doing offensively, but yeah, so Golden State commits the foul. Then they inbound to Kyrie in the backcourt, and he attacks right away again.
That's it again.
But this time, LeBron times it perfectly with a cut, and if he throws that dunk down, is that the all-time highlight from this game? Does that even surpass the block, you think?
No, but it's an all-time highlight for him. It's second probably to the block. The block is because like we said, the block saved the game. Let's face it. Whoever scored first was going to win.
I agree.
This dunk though would have been such like a exclamation point, and it also just would have been an amazing dunk. It reminded me a lot of like the D Wade LeBron play too, where it kind of went back to that. He saw Kyrie going rogue again and was like, all right, time to go back to my Miami days and hit this slot cut. And yeah, he puts the Zealy on a poster. He just misses it. Then I thought he broke his arm.
I did. I mean, we can say it. LeBron milks the hell out of that one.
No, he does, but because he was up so high. And the way he reacted at first, I was like, oh, gosh. And then I was like, oh, he is exhausted. And he is just, he's going to lay on this floor for as long as physically possible until they make him get up. I guess at this point, where are you? Are you nervous? Still nervous? Are you excited? Are you like, where are we here?
Inactive panic attack. I have tears now. If my memory serves me correctly, I don't think I watched him shoot the free throws.
Oh.
I think I was in the room, obviously. I hear the commentary.
Right.
But my memory is I'm sitting there, hands over my face, not even like peeking through the fingers. I'm just not watching it. I can't handle it. Then though, and maybe it's premature because there's still like 10 seconds left. When he hits the free throw to put him up 4, that's when I felt like I started feeling, oh my God, they won.
Yeah.
And it wasn't done.
No.
There's still 10 seconds left. All it takes is one Steph 3 and it's down to 1, and who the fuck knows what can happen at that point. But there I don't know why I felt that way. It was immediately like they did it.
Yeah. No, and I mean realistically at that point the Warriors just weren't going to get anything clean. The Cavs played awesome defense on that. They did get to advance the ball, but you know, they were switching everything, and it did. It felt like that free throw kind of just put the nail in the coffin. It was at that point just like, what's the celebration gonna be like? Like, this is incredible. I'm still thinking about the Kyrie shot. Yeah, and really the Warriors didn't get a clean look in that 10 seconds. I think they get 2 shot attempts up, but there's nothing clean. And then it's the best game in my memory that I've watched. Maybe not the best, like you said. It wasn't the cleanest, but with the storylines, with the all-stars in it, with the gameplay, with the mini runs that we got to see, with some of the athletic plays that we got to see, some of the crazy shots Steph hits and Kyrie, and there's just so much. It was a great series. It was a great playoff. It was a great year, and it was capped off by one of the best Game 7s you're going to get.
Yeah. Yeah, so they win. LeBron's on the court crying. Ty Lue is a blubbering mess on the bench. JR's crying on the floor. Still hasn't taken his shirt off, but he's about to.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's funny. We did Kobe's last game last week, and you talked about how that was a moment where you felt like your childhood ended.
Yeah.
That for me as a basketball fan, that's the case for this game. Now, I think if the Bears were to ever win a Super Bowl, I would be like this again, and from that point on, I would like that's the last little sliver of my childhood left is the Bears.
Right.
But my last 3-4 years of high school, my identity basically became Sonny as a Cavs fan.
Right.
I did not miss a game. If I had to miss a game for like one of my own basketball games, I recorded it on a VHS tape, watched it either the night of or the next day. Every year during the playoffs, I wore these big fucking size 14 all red clown shoes that had the Cavs logo on it during the playoffs. I wore a different Cavs t-shirt every day during the playoffs. And the plan was to do it every day until they won the NBA title. And they never did. I never wanted LeBron to go to Miami. I never wanted him to leave Cleveland. Even at the peak of his powers in Miami when they're going for a second straight title, I always wanted him to go back.
Yeah.
And the day that he went back, I remember exactly where I was. I was helping my parents move into their new house. I was refreshing Twitter all day. I cried when I saw the update that he was going back to Cleveland. And the next time after that the Cavs or LeBron made me cry was Game 7. And I haven't had that kind of emotional response to a basketball game or a sporting event since then.
Yeah.
And it made me, it was a relief, it was euphoric, and it was just the culmination, like, it's the culmination of LeBron's career, like we talked about. That's the Rumble in the Jungle moment where the movie ends. But it kind of felt like that for me too. And it kind of makes me sad because I haven't been able to muster that love for LeBron or another Cavs team or his time with the Lakers again. But like, it's so perfect that it ended in the manner that it did.
Yeah.
So I'm eternally grateful for this game. As is the city of Cleveland, their first championship in 52 years.
That city was rocking, let me tell you.
So tell me about this. You managed to make it to the championship parade.
Yeah.
So tell me about it.
So we're watching the game at the Bison's house. It's like 8 of us. I'm literally. I think I'm the only. Phil doesn't really have like a rooting interest. He tends to be a little bit more on my side. I was getting him with the Kyrie Duke stuff.
Well done.
So after they win, at that time I had a job. It was like my first year out of college. So I had a job like in flooring. I wasn't doing my career at the point. And I'd like there'd be weeks where I just didn't even work. Like I was 22, like all right, whatever. So I knew I wasn't going to work that week. And I was like, I'm going to go to the parade. And they were like, "What? What?" Like right as soon as the game ended, I was like, "I'm going to the parade." And they're like, "What?" And I was like, "Well, they won a championship. It's 3 hours to Cleveland. It's summer. I don't have to work. I'm going. Like, I'm just
Why
going.
not?
And it was a split, second decision. And everyone was like, I'll go. And we got like 7 people to go. We all got, bought like 8 40s. Drank them in the parking lot. Like, just chugged them. And then we got there at like, I think 8 in the morning. Got to like we got there pretty early. So we got to like where the stage was. But then by like 1:30, 2 o'clock, like no sign of nothing. Like no movement. So I got on Twitter and I should have, while I'm talking, would you look up how many people actually went? Because
I do feel like it was over 1 million.
I think it was too. I wanted to confirm that. But on Twitter, I saw that the city of Cleveland had prepared for like 300 to 400,000 people. And it turned out that there was like 1.5 million people that were there.
1.3.
1.3. And the people started rushing the streets, so all of the routes were like, the streets were just full of people, so cars couldn't get through, so they couldn't take the route. So the parade got like delayed by like 5 hours. At this point, we're hungover because we had been drinking 40s at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
So the folks I was with decided that we should leave at like 3:30, 4 o'clock. And as we left at like, because it took us quite a while to get out, by like 4:45, 5 o'clock, the players had reached the stage. So if we would have stayed for one more hour, we would have got to see them. Never actually saw them, but I saw the city, and it was incredible. It was really fun, though, to be a part of that and see just how, like you said, a relief for that city. Like, they had been clowned on for their sports, teams for so long, and they had such a passion for the Browns and for the Indians and for the Cavs. I mean, for goodness sake, like, they have a movie about how the Indians were so bad. Like, Major League was based around the city of Cleveland and how they always choke. And for one of their own to come home after burning them and, providing a championship to a city that really deserved it, it was really cool to see how much pride they had, the folks from Cleveland had for their city, and they came out in waves. It was a beautiful day. JR didn't have a shirt on all day. It was great. It was a great atmosphere. Wish you would have been there for me, but did you have any parade stories?
So, yes, early in that day, well, actually, my parade story happens the day after they win the title.
Okay.
Where I throw a one-man parade in the gated community that my parents lived in at the time. I just drove around the whole community, slow in my car, with I had my phone hooked up, like, the aux to my radio, and I just was playing, like, the last few minutes of the game's highlights and just driving down the street on full blast with like, oh, blocked by James, LeBron James with the rejection. Like, I just kept cycling that, and I just drove slowly. I threw my own parade. I was the only car there.
That's awesome. That's great.
Because I if I were living in New York at the time, I would have been there with you. Obviously, if I was living 10 miles south of downtown Cleveland as I am now, I would have been there. It was fantastic. Put a cap on, like we said at the top, maybe the best single season that we've had in the National Basketball Association in the 21st century. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, again, it was just a great ending to a great movie, a great story. They did the script right this year, that's for sure.
Success in life comes when you simply refuse to give up. On a mission so strong that obstacles Struggles like failure and loss only act as motivation. I mean, like, no one has the power to shatter your dreams unless you get something telling me to stop. I never do that in the name of love until I've given it my all and it just ain't enough. See, even if it's getting realer than they say it was, straighten up. Who's afraid of what? Players get involved. No, you work hard till you're better off. 24/7, 365, never off. Look at me, I'm nocturnal, I don't sleep. My eyes heavy bags and crow's feet, but I won't be stopped. I go from tragedy to majesty. The victory has been woven into my tapestry. My adversaries not cut from the same flag as me. That's why the champion's gonna be who it has to be. This ain't the type of opportunity that just appears. I made it here because I shed blood, sweat, and tears. To get the title I forever have my sights on. This is where I become an American icon.